It's 15 heats later. Here, from the track to the screen. Here for every second heat, 1 to 15. Lights out, takes up. That's the sound of the fight. Pirate ride every Wednesday night. From the track to the airways, laying it down. Best team in the league, yeah, we're taking that crown. We were called Pirate Pants, now we've gone even greater. Turn it up, make some noise, cause it's 15 heats later. 15 heats later. Guns and crossbones. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Is the official second show of 15 Heats Later in the 2026 season, which is dreadful, isn't it? Because we said we'd be a lot more regular with shows, but we've had other things going on.
We've been busy and it's been Speedway related, so I think we're allowed this time.
Yeah, I think so. It has been amazing. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we get on through the show. We do have a very special guest coming on very shortly. Has been quite busy today and is running on a very tight schedule. So we're giving him just a few minutes to get himself sorted before we bring him on. We'll get into that a little bit later on as well. But let's have a quick check who is live with us in the chat room. Clive Tyres, good evening, one and all. Betty Lou, hi everyone. Liam Smith, hi all. Andy, evening. Glad Speedway season is back. Looking forward to watching the Pirates. Peter Martin, hello all. Pink Tuck 20, hello guys. Heard a few laps being had today. Yes. Well, again, we'll probably get into that with Fraser a bit later on. Oh yeah, she's put laps as well. Neil Burrows, hi Lee and Beth. Dan Palmer, evening all from DND Media. Nice to have you guys on board, and make sure you check those guys out. They put together a great show. Rob Dyer, evening all. He is on board with us as well. So when we bring Fraser on, we are going to be, obviously we've got an interview and some things we want to touch on with Fraser, but you can fire your questions into the chat room and we will put them to Fraser during the course of the evening. Colin Marion Jones, one of the top 2 start marshals at Poole Speedway, is in the chat room as well. Always good to see him.
That's a good title, that.
It is. I mean, amongst the top two. Yeah, it's there. I'm not getting into that argument. So welcome everybody to the show. Lee and I did it right this time. Lee and Beth with you once again. For more information on the show, check out 15heatslater.com. You can follow us on all the social media. Obviously, you're probably watching on YouTube or Facebook right now. The great thing about it is we are at 15 Heats Later on absolutely everything. So check that out. We are also we've also got a shop as well. If you want some, I know Becky loves the word merch, so I'm going to say merch. And you can, there's a little link there, a little QR code, which will take you straight to the shop of 15 Heats Later, so you can check that out. I think Fraser is nearly about ready to be with us. So we're just going to touch base on why we have been absent over the last few weeks. If you've seen on social media, the Pirate social media, actually, we've Beth and I and Becky has been instrumental in the background, building things and dragging things around. And of course, the riders, we took the riders with us to some schools around the area. And what an amazing couple of weeks we had. We had Will and Dan Jilks with us, along with Zach and Cooper. Fraser, I know, was going to try and make it to some of the ones in the second week. But again, in another topic we'll cover off in a minute, you know, the world is mental at the moment due to certain people, and travel has not been fun, especially from the other side of the world. So he had to step out from those commitments. But yeah, it was really, really good. What did you think? It was fun, wasn't it?
It was so much fun. I think, you know, when it was Matt first sort of approached us to get involved and be a part of it, you don't always know what to expect, especially when you're talking to kids. And every school was going to be different. So, you know, every time we were going in, it was always slightly different. We had senior schools, junior schools, but every single place we went was so amazing. It was so fun. The kids were getting so into it. They were asking questions I've never thought about before, and putting us on the spot more than I'd like to admit. I think
some really inappropriate questions as well from younger kids, which is like, okay, we're not condoning this, but you stood there in front of 100 and something kids, and one of them says, "Has anyone died doing Speedway?" And you're like, the only way you can handle that question is by flipping it on its head and saying, well, lots of safety measures, they do have the big air fences now, so Speedway is a lot safer than it used to be. And
the thing is as well, it was when all the teachers look at you like, okay, how are you going to answer this one? And I'm like, I don't know.
When that question got asked, one of the teachers at the side put a ped in her hands because she couldn't believe one of her kids had said that.
And that was 2 different schools we had that one as well.
2 different schools.
The first one and the last one. But no, it was so much fun. It was really, really good. It was nice getting out and about and hopefully getting some more people involved in Speedway. I know we've had some good response from it, and I think we've had a few people confirmed as coming from some of the schools. So hopefully we'll see a lot more people down at the track. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a load of the kids have said they're going to come down, and there are, out of all the schools we did, there are 2 staff parties from 2 of the separate schools that are going to be down at Wimborne Road this year. So it's going to be good. Tell them about the young Polish kid.
Was that the first school?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, bless him.
Yes.
It was really cute. He came in and he's on the front row, and obviously, especially in Poland, Speedway is such a big thing, and he knew everything.
Yeah.
He started lecturing Zach on Brady, which I found quite entertaining.
Yeah. Do you know? Yes.
It was a whole thing. It was so funny, and he was, bless him, literally almost jumping up and down, just wanting to add in pieces of information and who was the fastest rider, and he's going off about Smarslick and all this stuff. He was so into it, but it was really cute, bless him.
Yeah, it was definitely worthwhile. I think we're going to be doing a few more later in the season as well. So yes, it'll be really, really good. Andy has said that's so good, going around different schools. It helps promote British Speedway. And D&D Media, me and Dan preparing a Kevlar ranking video soon. I hope pools live up to the expectations. There have been some shockers so far this season. I would agree with that. But in just one short week, we will have the answer that you're all looking for, because it's 1 week till press and practice day for the Pirates, and we will get those legendary Kevlars unveiled. So that'll be a fun time to check those out. Always excited. Right, shall we bring in our very special guest this week? I've got to be quite quick and organise layouts and stuff here. It's going to look a bit weird for a second, but let's see if we can bring him on. Right, that's that. Let's change that. There's that, and let's bring in Fraser. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Fraser Bowes, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
One. Not a problem at all. It's been great to finally get you here again, as we referred to a little bit earlier on. Massive travel issues with you getting over to the UK, and the world's a bit backwards at the moment, and it's really caused you some trouble. We'll get on to that, but more importantly, thank you for taking the time, because we know you've literally raced from the track to get in front of a camera and be here today. Been doing a little bit of testing down at Wimborne Road. Yeah,
that's right. I probably walked in the door at 8 to 6, so 8 to 7. So just scoffed some food down and had a drink of water, and I'm on here now. So no, it was a good day. It's a tricky track. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn, and I think it's going to bring me on as a rider. So I'm quite happy how today went.
Fantastic. Who was down there today?
Just myself and Dan.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, talking about the pool track, obviously one of the things that when we heard that you were being signed to the Pirates, everyone goes back to that meeting when you stacked in 13 points out of nowhere, which was phenomenal. And I think there's a few people on the terraces nudging each other. We need to get that guy, and here you are. But what was it about pool on that night in particular that really clicked with you and sort of led to that? Because you were flying that night.
I think, to be honest, the tougher the track and the more I dislike it, if that makes sense, it's an extra incentive to get out the start and go. I think when I would like to have backed it up when I came with Glasgow that time, but I think I was a bit too amped up and wanted to do too good that it sort of worked opposite. So I don't mind this track. I like it. And it's a racing man's track. So yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Excellent. Go on, Beth. You got the next one.
Yeah, I think obviously coming to Poole, I think we've said it a lot of times to different riders over the years, and it's always a question that kind of comes up. Obviously, Poole are very, very hungry every year for silverware, as every club is, but Poole are obviously, luckily, very, very used to being near the top. That brings about a lot of pressure, but for you personally, what does a successful season look like?
I think just improving on my average. Like last year, I come in on 5 and I got myself up to 6.8, and I felt quite good. But then we went to Edinburgh and Scunthorpe, and that was a couple of tracks I really struggled around. So I'd like to be able to go there and this season and bang in a few points, and I'd like to be middle 6.5 sort of thing by the end of the season. I think that's where I could be, or I think. Yeah, I think just to continuously build my average and hopefully get a team in the top league as well.
Yeah, sounds good. That's a great goal. I mean, speaking about the Poole track, obviously it is a technical track, as you said. Workington as well is quite a unique track. Did you learn a lot about British tracks last season compared to, for example, some of the Polish ones, because they're huge and really fast and you can just sail around them, but a lot of the British ones are really tight, especially ones like Plymouth that are really, you've barely got a straight there. You're almost on a lock the whole time you're going around the track.
Yeah, like Workington, the track is it's great. You can never say a bad thing about it. But the problem with Workington is it's too good. And I feel you're so used to racing, like I've been in Poland for four or so years now, and I'm so used to racing those tracks. And then you come to Workington and it's like, it's not too much difference. And then, but you'd never say that you can't learn anything on that track. I did learn a lot, but I think the main thing I learned racing there was to trust myself and what I think should work. A lot of time I listened to other people about how to do things and so on. And in the end, when I really trusted myself, and that was that meeting when Glasgow came down there, and I dropped 1 point in heat 15, and that was the first time I'm like, all right, now this is where it's time to listen to myself, and yeah, so this season is really about following what I truly believe, and that's what we've really worked on over the winter or in the Aussie summer is self-confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really huge thing to kind of look at. I think any rider needs to be able to kind of trust themselves and trust that judgment. And coming in, obviously, last year was only your first British season. Did you notice just in general, kind of British Speedway was a little bit different to anywhere else? Were there certain changes you felt you had to make?
It was, but I didn't find it a whole lot relaxing. Like, I go to Sweden and I love Sweden. It's so relaxing. You have fun and you enjoy it. But I always want to do good there as well. It's not like, who cares? But the UK, it's hard to put it into words, but I found the UK, it was a little bit difficult, just how slick it was. I do enjoy a track that's got a little bit more dirt on it. And I didn't realize how slick they were. So that was the biggest learning curve.
Yeah, totally get that. It's it can be a bit of culture shock to some riders, but I think overall it improves you as a rider. You can adapt to all conditions and learn different styles for different tracks, which is fantastic. Again, we mentioned earlier about that massive 13-point haul you had. Leads kind of into this question about the negotiations. Like, when were you first approached by Matt and Danny about being a Pirate in 2026?
Well, there was lots of rumors that I'd already signed here, after that meeting or after Glasgow was here, and but that wasn't true. I actually signed. The season was done. Paul had won it, And the season was after that. I can't remember the exact date, but it wasn't. I had spoken with Matt about it, but nothing eventuated from there. I wanted to come down and do the blue ribbon. We were sort of waiting for that, but unfortunately, there was a few things that went on behind the scenes, and I wasn't able to come down.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds so. We'll get on to that. I know there's going to be people who are asking questions, and you know as well as we do what the Speedway media is like, and this is going to be a nice open forum for you to sort of get your side of things across if you need to. Beth, it kind of touches on the next question there.
Yeah. So sort of, I mean, 2026 is looking big for you anyway. Signing with Paul, you're also riding in Denmark as well. How do you balance ambition across those different teams, and how do you focus on each without losing sight of what you're doing with the other?
Well, another thing that I learned last year was less is more. Last year, I did too much. I've got a few really good friends who have been in the Speedway for such a long time, who's been there and done that, and they said, "Nah, you're doing too much. Don't do it." But I didn't listen. And I thought I was right, but I enjoyed it, but it was by the end of the season, I was ready to, just not pack up, just go home, go fishing and just relax. This year, it would have been perfect with Poland and Paul on a Wednesday and Poland on a Sunday. Unfortunately, now Tarnov's gone bankrupt and left us all out of a job now. So hopefully we can fight our way back into a position in Poland. But last year I lost a lot of concentration. I'd go from working, I'd be racing Poland Tuesday, Sweden on a Thursday, Friday or Saturday was here in the UK, and then I'd fly straight to Poland on a Sunday morning. So if I was racing in Workington or around there, I'd go straight on the train up to Edinburgh. I wouldn't, because their airports were, ridiculous prices. I would just stay in the airport and call my mates on the phone and just stay awake all night because I couldn't sleep in the airport. So, it'd be from 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd wake up on Saturday till Sunday, 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to bed. So whatever that is, 36 odd hours, I was awake. You do get a little bit of sleep on the plane, but it's not true sleep. So, a couple of times where I've never flipped a bike in my life, and I got caught out last year where it stood up on me. I just didn't even bother to grab the clutch. And when that happened, I said, no, you can't do that now. It's got 2 legs enough, and that will be right.
I think it is one of those things, again, as we went to the schools, and a lot of these kids hadn't heard about Speedway, and you show them the promo video of these sort of professional setups and these guys going ridiculous speeds on these high performance bikes, and we really did have to sort of instill in them it's not like Formula One. You don't go back to your trailer and chill out and just get driven everywhere or flown in first class with the champagne on the go. Like, you guys are riding for multiple teams, multiple countries. Sometimes you can be hitting 3 or 4 different countries in a week potentially. I'm surprised you even know what track you're at. You just sat on a bike and not knowing what way is up, and you've just got to go for it. And again, it is one of those things, and I hate to be sort of millennial about it, but mental health is a huge thing. And I know a couple of riders in the Speedway space are trying to raise awareness of that, because it's the old school thing of Speedway riders were crazy, we do anything, we'll just get our heads down and go on with it. But at the end of the day, you guys are real people, and you've only got so much fuel in the tank to. That was a nice analogy, but it's only so much fuel in the tank to keep going at all this stuff. And I think you did the right thing, because any longer and you would have probably broken as a person.
Yeah, that's right. And mental health is a huge thing for athletes and everyone in general. It's when you get stuck in a rut, it's such a hard thing to get out of it. But the best thing about last season was where we lived. I lived in Poland, and the president had a building, so a heap of us boys all lived there and would go out of a night time, not partying, but would have some fun, and that was the main thing about it. So just getting yourself out of bed, it's very hard to get down and mad about what's going on in the racing. And I copped it a few times last year from commentators and stuff like that. And it hurt, but you're like, stuff them, it doesn't bother you. But it doesn't bother me too much. But, you just got to keep on working and what do they say? What's the saying? Adversity is a privilege. So, just got to keep chipping away at it and keep fighting for what your dream is.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. That could be, I think that's going to be the tagline of the video. We'll move quickly on to you and, Pirates fans. I think their stomachs dropped a little bit when they saw some of the videos and photos of you over the Australian summer and our winter with the injuries. Everyone was excited for you to sign for Paul, and then we see the news that you've had injuries in Australia. The big question, and I think a lot of people are on this interview now listening because they want the news from you. How is the injury? Are you 100%? How are you managing it? Give us the 911 on what's happening.
I feel very good. At the moment, I'm the strongest I've ever been. Not in my left arm, in my right arm I am. I kept on training and cycling. I was, probably 2 days after the accident, I was on my bike cycling on Zwift with a few of my mates and, doing an hour and a half, 2 hours every day. This one was a bit more of a painful accident. I crashed in this. I did 65 meetings last year and didn't crash once. And then, one little crash at the end of the season, and went back to Aussie and crashed twice and ended up in the back of an ambulance twice in 3 weeks. So, that one was my neck was a bit funny and I got a bit of a concussion. So I got recommended to, have the time off and I didn't want to go into racing the Aussie titles not doing it 100%. I wasn't right. I was still tired. I was sleeping most of the day. And then I felt really good. Dad and I had been working on an engine I bought one engine back from Poland last year that I didn't really like. And Dad and I played around with it. And, in the off season, and I was like, that one won't work. I was a bit hesitant and it was the best thing I've ever ridden. So, we took it to Mildura and I felt really, really fast. But unfortunately, as it goes, I was in second, past another rider into second. I was chasing down Seji. Red light comes on, restart, and I was in third. So I was wasn't used to having something underneath me that works. But no, I feel really good now. I did a couple training days before I come out here, and out in the dirt, and I'm a bit hesitant going out there on my home track in Adelaide, and just I felt good. I felt really good. And I enjoyed Speedway. I want to have a little bit of time off and not keep pushing myself to do something and then hating it, and everyone needs that little bit of time off. During the season, you just so zoned in, focused on racing and achieving what you want to achieve. And then you go back to Aussie and it's the same thing again. So, I sort of took a little bit of a break, just worked with my dad, did some work for him and just had fun with it. And I feel, my body feels really good at the moment. I'm still getting a bit more strength in this arm, but this arm you need the right arm more than the left arm for racing. So,
that's good news. Good news. The Pirates fans will be happy with that. Just wanted to, before we go into Beth's next question, a message from Mark Golder. Totally agree with trust yourself. You must agree that other riders with more experience may be able to help and offer advice. Please don't rule that out. Obviously, one of the things that is the sort of press or the media line about the Pirates this season is we've got some experienced riders in the team and then some very young guys. And it's sort of got you and Dan sort of sat there in the middle. Very young reserves this year, Cooper and Will, who are going to be dynamic and very exciting. You've got Richard and Louis, of course, who are, I always have to use the word experience because no one likes being called old. But those guys have ridden all the tracks. They know what they're doing. Have you touched base with the rest of the team? Are you sort of in contact with them all and sort of put together a game plan for 2026?
No, not really. I haven't really seen anyone. Zach's been out in Poland and Rich and Louis I haven't really seen. We'll spend a bit of time at my house in Aussie, so we're just talking and having a bit of fun. And Cooper, I still haven't met him yet. So I think it's quite a good team. You know, Cooper and Will are both racers. You know, they might be young, you know, and moving up to the fight, like racing with the big boys, if you want to call it that. It's, you know, it is daunting, but it is a reality check as well. But I think these boys are racers. You know, they'll even if it's not the first meeting or the second meeting, they'll get it soon enough. And I think I know I've seen Will put a lot of time and effort into his racing, going to Aussie and America, and I think he's out in Slovenia at the moment, or Poland. So I think everyone can help each other. But in saying, replying to that comment, what works for someone may not work for you. You know, I weigh 60 kilograms. More in the season, it goes down to about 58. You know, and if, you know, something like Bomber, who's a bit heavier, he might have a bit bigger sprocket, you know, or so on. So it's a bit of, you need to find the happy medium sort of thing. But it's best to trust yourself and not listen to someone else all the time.
Yeah. Good words. Go for it, Beth.
Yeah, I like that. And I am going to say as well, very quickly, before I forget, we have to say happy birthday to Louis Kerr as well, because we're very famous for missing people's birthdays at the moment. So happy birthday for Louis.
Happy birthday, Louis.
Happy birthday, Louis.
We did it pretty much every episode we did last year, managed to miss someone's birthday. So anyway, but moving on from that, obviously having the injury, you didn't have sort of the Aussie season that you were expecting. A lot of others have. You touched on it a bit. Obviously, I mean, Will was here, there, and everywhere. You had others that were doing the championship. How do you find that coming into the beginning of the season, having not ridden as much over the summer? Is it nice to have just had the time off, or do you find it's a little bit like, whoa, let's actually figure out what Speedway is again?
No, for me, it's nice having the time off. You know, my dad is very much to keep working if you've got something's going wrong or whatnot, just to keep working at it and getting better. And I agree with that. But, you know, I always relate it back to a video game. When you're a kid, you're playing something and you can't get past a level. You know, you come back 2 weeks later and you're like, oh, I completed it. So, yeah, I think that you don't never forget how to ride a bike. You know, my dad, hadn't ridden in 20 odd years and had a skid a few years ago now, and, you know, looked like he had never got off of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I've got a question about your dad in just a second, but we also need to acknowledge it's Cooper's 16th birthday on Saturday as well.
Sunday.
So we need to. Oh, was it Sunday? Okay, I lost track of the date, but yeah, happy birthday, Cooper. Officially a pirate, I guess, on the weekend. So that's really cool. Oh yes. Yeah, no Sunday. There we go. They've corrected themselves. Awesome. Yeah, my next question, and we'll have this question, then we'll get to some of the fan questions. Keep them coming in the chat. We haven't forgotten them. I've got them starred and ready to send over to Fraser. But yeah, your dad, I remember him riding for Glasgow back in the day, and you know, he's got a lot of technical knowledge, a lot of experience, which probably for you is good and bad, sort of having to listen to what he wants to say when you want to do your own thing. But what's some of the advice that he's given you, or the best piece of advice he's given you for your career in the UK?
He doesn't really push too much. He sort of has just let me do my own thing. He hasn't, like, sometimes things work in his era that I don't believe work for me. And that was something about trusting myself as well. But I think my dad is very good with how handling it. He's always taught me the right way of doing stuff. You know, there's some boys that can't change tires, can't do a lot of work on the bike. And, you know, my dad's taught me how to build engines and pull them down. I can, you know, strip one down and rebuild it myself now. And like, dad's financed a lot of the racing for me and at starting off. But he's always put as much in as what I put in. So that's been a main thing. If I didn't care about the racing, he wouldn't be here supporting me with it. But I put 110% effort in, so he's there with me. So but he backs me all the way, and without him and my mum, it wouldn't really be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Are they coming over to the UK at any point this year?
He's flat out. He's got his own
Okay.
business in Aussie, so he wants to, but he doesn't really know if it'll be July, August, or next year. So hopefully he will. They want to do a bit of traveling around, so yeah.
Nice one. Fingers crossed we see him. That'd be really cool. Right, Beth, let's get some of these fan questions in, and again, keep them coming in the chat room. We've got Fraser here, so now's your opportunity.
Let's go. Hang on, because I've lost all of them. Okay.
Sorry, there's one on the screen already.
Yeah, I know, but my screen went weird.
Oh, okay, sorry. Professional.
I think I'd be good at this by now, but not so much. Anyway, so Andy's saying, welcome to Poole. And are you looking forward to racing at Wimborne Road this year with the Pirates fans being behind you? I know a lot of people talk about it's one of the few tracks where you can really hear the fans, even when you're on the start line. You can't always hear them, but I think Poole's quite a loud one for that. Are you looking forward to that?
Definitely. I saw the fans last year I was on the opposing team, so it'd be good to be on the right side of the fence this time. So I'm looking forward to it. I couldn't sleep last night before practice, so I'm just ready to start the season.
It can get pretty loud there, and we're going to be doing our best to make sure it stays loud this year, which will be fun. Right, next one from Rob Dyer. Go for it, Beth.
Yeah, Rob Dyer's asking, are you based in the UK or are you back in Lublin this year?
No, I'm going to base myself here in the UK this year. I think that this will be around a few more like-minded people, and so far at the moment where I'm living, I'm having a great time.
Whereabouts are you living? Are you with Midlow or?
No, I'm staying with Bill at the moment, and then in 2 or 3 weeks' time, when Matt's back, I'll move in with him.
Okay, awesome, good stuff. So not far from the track at all.
Get Matt to take you to the Indian. That's my advice.
Yeah. If you like Indian food, Matt will take you to a good one. It's nice.
Oh, it sounds good.
I've never been before, and then he took us, and it was really nice. So
it was very nice. Indian food podcast, right? Go on, Beth. Next one.
Andy's asking again, are you looking forward to working with Midlow?
Definitely. I was down his place Thursday last week, and we're just having a conversation. He's got plenty of stories and to laugh about. So I think having a team manager like him will be really good to, he's worked with everyone, all different types of riders. So I think it'll be good to be able to ask him some information.
Of course, on the flip side of that, we've got our away team manager, Gary Havelock. Have you had any interactions with Javi before?
Well, Javi was Dad's best mate. He's been out to Aussie and been to our shack and stuff like that. So, he's a joker, that's for sure. But I only saw him once last year when he was in Workington. So we had a couple-minute conversation, but wasn't too much.
Yeah, from all the riders we've spoken to, it's a really good kind of mix. They're very different team managers, but I think they complement each other really, really well. It's not like going from night to day and doing things totally differently. So yeah, should be a fun time. Right, next one from Liam, Beth.
Yeah, Liam's asking, are there any other tracks you've struggled with apart from Edinburgh and Scunthorpe?
I don't think so. I think I had a good meeting at Glasgow. Workington I struggled a little bit with the slick starts. That was a really big thing. I still haven't been to Plymouth or Oxford yet. I had a meeting in Poland that day, so I did miss those two. But it was basically just those two. It was Scunthorpe was so slick that I was always half a bike behind everyone, and Edinburgh, I just don't understand that track at all. So.
Well, maybe this is the year. This is the year when it all comes together. That's good.
I don't think you're alone on that one either. I think everyone I've spoken to talks about Edinburgh.
Let's move on to. This isn't a question from Liam, but he did say also to mention Zach Gord's 7+2 for Lodz at Gdansk. They won 52-38 away. So well done, Zach. That's pretty good. Okay, so again, the chat is still open if you would like to put any questions to Fraser, you certainly can do. Pop them in the chat there. What are you looking forward to the most about riding at Poole? It's again one of the questions I ask everyone, and of course you've ridden against Poole as an away rider. Is it intimidating coming to Poole, but because of the sort of the reputation, whether good or bad, that Poole has? Is it a bit of a mindset you've got to get yourself into?
No, not really. I think coming to Poole, it's more of a professional club than where I was previously. I spoke with a lot of people about the decision because I had a couple other offers and I sort of was on the fence about it. Well, not me, but a few other people said other things. But I think it'll be really good. It will only bring me up, make me a better rider as well. And having all these guys with experience, Midlow and Rich and Matt and stuff like that, I think this atmosphere will be quite good. It will only make me better, is what I'm saying. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be good to see. Well, I think we've covered this one before, but Peter, what is your personal goal for this season? I know you've as an individual, you want to just keep your average going up each and every year. But let's flip it on. What would you like for the team? I mean, again, we're known as being quite successful as a club. I think last year we only got 2 out of the 3 trophies, and it was our last meeting of the season where we dropped that last trophy, and that was a real kick in the gut for Pirates fans, and we haven't watched Speedway since. So everyone's going to be really out for blood, as Pirates say, this year. So are you hoping to join the fight and get those 3 trophies back for us?
Yeah, definitely. I really want to fight and get some trophies and some medals for us as well. So I just want to do my best for the team, and if I can improve from 5.6 and go up, I think that will be really good as a good stepping stone for next year.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully we can get all 3 of those trophies in this year. That'll be awesome. Tell us a little bit. Again, we've had a little bit of a sort of sneak preview about your travel issues because again, I know you were one of the riders we were hoping to bring along to the school visits with us to meet some of the kids, and I know you really. The kids were disappointed not to see you there, but you recorded a great video for them, just apologizing and saying about the difficulties you had getting over, and the kids really appreciated that. They thought it was fantastic, and then they had some promo photos of you as well, which they took on and absolutely loved. But talk us a little bit about, without getting into world politics too much, what the issues were with you coming over, because it must have been a nightmare.
Oh, it was just weak. I just spent that many hours on the phone on hold, and then you just say call failed. Like, I originally was booked with Qatar, and that got cancelled. So the night before I was supposed to fly, that was cancelled or postponed to the next day. Then that was cancelled after that, and then just on hold, and then end up just saying, all right, we'll just go with Emirates. I just kept watching all the updates about what was going on. So I was originally supposed to fly from Adelaide to Heathrow on a Monday, and that got cancelled. So I called them. It was great. There's probably a bit of a plug for Emirates, but no, it was 25 minutes on the phone on hold, got through, booked a new flight and straight to Manchester, which worked even better for me. But coming over, it was pretty gnarly. We got stuck in the air for about an hour just doing loops outside of Dubai. Then they said, oh, there's a situation happening. So we went to Abu Dhabi, sat there for 4 or 5 hours. Half the plane got off, and we all got like a missile threat on our phone. So we stayed on the plane. And then after that, they said, all right, we're gonna take off again. Threat's cleared in Dubai now. So, and same in Abu Dhabi, they've both been cleared. So took off. And then as we were coming in, I was sitting next to someone on the plane, and I said, oh, look at the TV, and there's all this smoke coming out. We're looking out the window, and one of the fuel tankers are on fire, and they're battling a fire. So one of the drones had come in just before we landed and blew it up. So yeah, it's scary times, but you didn't really see too much over there. There was no rockets, no guns, no military anywhere. I did hear a jet fighter go past, but I didn't see it. But yeah, so I'm over here now, so that's the main thing.
That's frightening, absolutely frightening. Like, I mean, well done you for getting over it. Full stop. Because that's a nightmare. A message from Emily says hi. Emily, my stepdaughter, wanted to say a big hi, so there she is. Another one from Pink Tuck. Beth, you take this one.
I love this one because I think something that got pool fans talking a lot, to be honest, most fans of Speedway talking a lot at the end of last year, away at Glasgow, and we get down to the point where it's a must-win superheat to be able to win the league. And I don't think anyone has held their breath for a race more than that race in quite a while. I certainly haven't. Let's do 2 versions of this. Oh.
Nope.
That's Workington on the phone, giving him some grief.
I better not.
Either that or it's Emirates going, oh, so we'll sponsor you. If it was, he'd be off this call. So from the Pirates team this year, and then just any rider in general, who would you like to be in a must-win last race with?
I haven't really thought about this before. I think probably Rich, because you know that he's most likely going to be there for you. So I would say Rich. And
excellent. Yeah. Go on.
For any rider, I don't know, maybe Fred Lindgren, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. The hard thing is I'm trying to think about someone who I've raced with, or no one races as a team in Poland. You talk to boys and I'll look for you and no one looks for you. So it's hard to say, yeah, I've got a connection with someone. But if you'd say anyone, Fred knows how to team ride, or someone like, Jack or Chris, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was actually going to mention, is it, when you think of a question like that, do you just think of the fastest rider you can, or someone that you genuinely have got a chemistry with, that sort of roughly where they're going to be on the track, and to sort of read their body language as to what they're doing? But I guess it's a combination of both in that situation.
Well, it's easy to say Smarslick or Brady, but I know Fred pretty well, and we've can have a good laugh with each other. So I would say Fred, if that's someone who, if I could pick from the top 16, would be probably him, I reckon. Yeah, sounds good. So that'd be a hell of a race. Now we are going to, we touched on this a little bit earlier, loosely, but Rob Dyer, you'll hear him along with Beth on Pirates TV down at Poole Speedway on race nights. Sorry, but we need to address the elephant in the room. On socials, some Workington fans have been less than complimentary. That's very polite, Rob. What actually happened to generate this feeling? Again, I know we touched on the topic, but again, this is an open forum. It's a friendly space. If you want to sort of address any rumors or put pay to any rumors, go for it. Far away. I don't want to bag anyone because I'm over it now. What happened was wrong, and I hope they know what they did was wrong. But basically, just got left stranded. I flew in from Poland, went Monday night to the airport, and once again didn't really sleep very well in the airport. I had an engine with me, went down to Manchester, picked up my second engine. I wanted everything to be right coming here for the blue ribbon. So anyway, got to Workington, called one of the guys there, said, can I please get the van? Like, it was all organized. Can we get the van? I just want to pack it and have an early night's rest, and get up and go. But unfortunately, that van that was in my contract that I was promised all season to use for if I got guest bookings or so on, I could use it. basically that was non-existent, and there was another van that was offered, but then that had no MOT. So I left him. He said, "Oh, sorry, mate, working something out." And I just said to him, I left it for a few hours, and it got to about 7 o'clock, and I said, "What's the go?" He's like, "Oh, can you help me? Can you get someone else to help you? Another rider from Workington?" And I couldn't do it. Called another boy. I just offered him 100 quid. I said, just to put your name on the insurance, on the rental van, because I wasn't allowed to rent. I'm under 25, so I couldn't get a van. And he was busy that day as well. So I was pretty mad about it, and I think it was wrong what happened. Matt was very, very good. I called Matt, and Matt tried really hard to do everything possible, but really what was stopping me was my age from renting a van. And I said, well, if that's how you guys want to be, then I'll take a step back, and it just shows what I was worth to the team. If that was what the contract was, I followed all the points in the contract. I came up to my I did what I had to do all season, and that was sort of just left in the dark on that situation. And I called Steve Lawson out of respect and said, "Steve, I won't be attending the club party on Friday, and I won't be racing on Saturday," and then just left it at that. And they weren't too happy. The story got pretty skew with, but now it's out in the air, and I hope that we can just move on from it.
Absolutely. Not a great situation from anyone's perspective, and I'm sure there was no malice in sort of anyone's side of things, and things do go wrong. But again, from your perspective, I think that's the only way you could really deal with that. So again, it's out in the public, it's been addressed, and best thing to do this year, I think, is move on for everyone's sake. Let's get back onto, we've got a couple of really good fan questions coming here, Fraser. So Beth, do you want to fire these across?
Yeah, so Andy's coming in again with, how many engines have you brought over with you, and have you got one for Wimborne Road?
I've got 3 here in the UK with me. I was testing today the one that I rode last time with Workington today, but it was good. It was okay, but we got a little bit more practice to do. I think just try a few more different things and see. I know the track conditions today they're not going to be the same on race night. So it was more about just getting around the track and finding lines. So yeah, about three engines, and then I sort of know which one where to use where.
Yeah, sounds good. I know, again, you'll be down press and practice day, hopefully get some track time subject to the weather there, and breaking those new Kevlars, which will be cool. Next question, Beth, there you go.
All right, Mark is asking, Fraser, what do you think can be done to improve UK Speedway from your perspective?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
I see a lot of good things, what they try and do, but unfortunately the price of everything at the moment is ridiculous, and to race in the UK, it's very, very strict, and the fines are quite ridiculous in my opinion. And I think for what the money is that you earn here, the fines are just, it shouldn't be like that. I think that puts a lot of riders off as well. But that's the hardest thing. Boys are moving over. You earn 10 times more in Poland per point than what you do in the UK, and it gets to, like Wolfie said something a few years ago, why do a job, why work at Tesco and get 5 quid, and you go to Asda and get 20 quid an hour, and that's exactly it. So it's a hard question. I need to really sit down and think about it, but Yeah, I see a lot of good things. The social media is a big thing. What they're doing here and really pushing it. I see Paul puts a lot of effort into working with sponsors and taking the time out of their day to meet with them and really show them Speedway. It's not just take your money and here's some tickets and that's it. They really work with them to make them want to come back and make them want to sponsor again next year. So that's a good thing. So long story short, I don't really know.
We'll get there in the end eventually. Just before we get into the next one, Rob said, "Thanks, Fraser. Appreciate your answer." So there we go. Let's tied the bow around that. Right, next one for you, Beth.
Oh, okay. Harry asking, I don't know if you're allowed to say or
No,
not.
exactly.
Do you know what number you're racing at to start the season?
Yes or no? You don't need to say.
I'll say yes to save any arguing or me getting in trouble. I don't know what number I'm starting at.
Okay, good stuff.
Number one.
I mean,
number one.
Yeah, stick him in at number one. Rich
Number
can be
one.
down at like 4 or something. They'll be fine. Next one, go on, Beth. It's your grandpa. Go on.
Yep. So I call him Clive when we're on this, but yeah, Grandpa is asking, what are your thoughts about going to Plymouth for your first away meeting for the season?
It'll be interesting. I've seen some gnarly racing around there, but
Yep.
I think I'll enjoy it. I do like those small tracks. They say Edinburgh is small, but it's just the geometry of Edinburgh is not right in my opinion. But something like Plymouth, I've been to America, raced out there. In Aussie, we've got a little practice track 10 minutes down the road from me, and on small, that's very small as well. Same in Poland. In Lublin, there was one 15 minutes down the road. So we did spend a bit of time on those tracks. So I think I'll like it.
Yeah, it is an interesting track. I mean, it's they call it the Colosseum down there, and it is a massive home advantage. I think they've got a very, very strong team this year, along with Tobias Thompson, who was, of course, rode for us last year and goes like a train down in Plymouth. So he's certainly going to be a difficult one to beat. Let's go. I think this one we've already kind of covered that, but yeah, more of a comment here. Do you still have the engine you first rode at Wimborne Road? You beat most of, if not all of our heat leaders' first visit. I guess we can sort of add to that. Did you get everything you were expecting out of that engine today?
Yeah, that engine's for a different track condition.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was on it today, but it is for a different condition track.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, how long have we got? We've got a few minutes left. Beth, let's hit the last question that we've got on our list.
Yeah, this one we ask everyone, because I think we like using this as just a way to really sort of talk to the fans and have a bit more connection with them. Obviously, on race night, you get to see them for a bit, but you guys do need to focus on your racing. So once the actual racing starts, I know you guys kind of zone in, but what message would you give to the Pool fans just ahead of the season?
I hope you bring your jackets to stay warm. No, it's just looking forward to meeting everybody, and it was pretty loud when I was on the away team last year, so I'm glad to be on the Pool side this year.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. There's a lot of good people down at Pool, very passionate about the club, and certainly will get behind each and every one of the riders. Liam Smith says, I reckon you'll like Plymouth, Fraser. Watch out for Ben Barker, though. He does throw himself around that track. I'll certainly say that. But, you can't argue with success, can you? He's another guy a bit like Bomber, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay, so we're rapidly reaching the end of the show. So is there anything else, Beth, that you wanted to cover off with Fraser before we get the big interviews on press and practice day?
I don't think so. I think that's the main sort of thing. Oh, what I will add in, because I did see it somewhere and I cannot remember where. We have spoken to Cooper about this. We've spoken to Will about this. We have an amazing, amazing woman, Lynn, who in the pits, she has basically a massive pick and mix bag. just full of sweets and snacks and
Mhm.
things. And she does like to know, are there any specific sweets or snacks that you would want on a race night?
I met her last year, actually. I remember she came when I was on the, I don't know if she was there with the Workington side, but when I was with Glasgow guesting, she did come around. But I don't eat sweets. I'm zoned in this year. I am a sweet tooth, but I can't eat them. So thank you, but no thank you.
Straight edge. I like it. Well, I mean, just to sort of cover it off, Will has asked for peppers. That's a famous 15 Heats Later story. He gets raw peppers and just eats them like apples. It's
Like a chili
insane.
or a capsicum.
Sorry, no, just the normal peppers, not chili peppers. Yeah, green, red, yellow peppers. He just eats them. So
we did end up though. Loads of fans started showing up with peppers. It was just like filling his pit bay with peppers by the end of the season.
That'd be good though. When he wins a race, just like no, don't do it. But just shower him with peppers. That'd be pretty cool. And on that note, actually, we have got one more. Pink Tuck, Michelle says, "Have you chosen your race-winning song?" Obviously, Rocket Man is very famous for when Rich wins a race. Have you spoke to anyone down at Poole Speedway? Have you got a favorite song that you like to be played when you win a race?
I don't know. I'm a big AC/DC fan, so I don't know. I would say maybe Thunderstruck.
I was going to say Thunder from Down Under. Thunderstruck would be good. But that's it. You've just created a nickname for yourself as well, so that's going on all the t-shirts now. That's really good. He had greatest episodes as always. Not got a club to follow with Wolves and Brum closing, so looking forward to watching the season as a neutral. Have a good season, Fraser. Awesome. Well, that is about all we've got time for. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in to speak with Fraser tonight. It's we can't wait to see him on the track. It's going to be a fantastic season. A couple of quick plugs that we've got before we do finish up. Check out the Forever Panthers YouTube channel. I know David, who does the interviews there, is in our chat room, and I'm actually going to Norfolk to stay with him this weekend as well. So shout out to him. And there's an interview with David Howe, which I think is coming very, 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 very soon. And check out our friends over at Shoot Some Shale Media, D&D Media over on YouTube. They've got lots of good Speedway interviews there. They do watch-alongs, all that kind of stuff. So check those guys out as well. We will also be putting this up as an audio podcast. So if you're an audio person, you haven't got the time to watch on YouTube and you want to listen to a podcast on a go, we will have an audio version of this show available as well. Remember to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, all that good YouTube stuff that everyone always bangs on about all the time. And I guess the next time everyone will see us will be down at Press and Practice Day next Wednesday, which is going to be a lot of fun. I think Beth and I are going to be involved in the whole day, sort of from the morning all the way through to the end of practice. So that's it's going to be a fun time. You looking forward to it, Beth?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for everything to get back, and then knowing that we've got press day, and then weather permitting, Good Friday next week as well, getting back into racing. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And we will see you down there, Fraser. We're going to end the show now, but Fraser, hang on for us. We'll come back to you just as soon as we get everything finished. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We've got some good numbers coming in. And again, we'll see you all down at Wimborne Road next Wednesday, Press and Practice Day, and then Good Friday for the opening meeting against Plymouth. We will see you guys next time.
Thank you very much.